Welcome to the Pluto Lounge, where we just chill. Aw, silkin' now. A new Dragon Age Veilguard gameplay review dropped, so let's talk some Dragon Age. First, let me talk about the trailer. Game developers typically are not involved with the direction or planning of a trailer. That all comes from the marketing team. In this day and age, bad marketing could be more harmful on game sales than ever before. If a trailer leaves a bad impression, then you get YouTube filled with those video thumbnails of people making ugly faces. And then if you go into a forum, you see nothing but negative and hateful comments. The trailer wasn't that good, and I don't understand who the target audience was. I guess they're trying to get the Fortnite people or something like that. That being said, they released a game trailer the next day, which was a lot better. However, the damage was done. It's like brushing your teeth and immediately drinking orange juice. Then I gotta ask, when you know you're changing the combat completely from CRPG to action RPG, then why show level 1 combat as your reveal? Anyone who has played all the Dragon Ages can tell you that the gameplay doesn't really get good until the midway point when your builds start coming online. So why not show around a mid-level dungeon so people get to see really cool combat? Especially now that we are in action RPG, we're competing with Final Fantasy, Grand Blue Fantasy, Dragon's Dogma, and the list goes on. Okay, rant over. Now, let's talk about the gameplay. I guess first I should do more of a bit of an overview for all of my new people to Dragon Age, or it's been 10 years, you might need a refresher. But of course, this gameplay trailer takes place in Tevinter. But before we talk about Tevinter, let's talk about Thedas. Thedas is a continent, the primary setting of all Dragon Age games. Think of it like Middle Earth to Lord of the Rings. Now within Thedas, there's a nation called Tevinter. Tevinter stands apart from the rest of Thedas in terms of politics, religion, and ideology. While the rest of Thedas fears mages and confines them to these mage towers, Tevinter takes the opposite approach. In Tevinter, powerful mages rule and non-magic users are treated as second-class citizens. Additionally, unlike the rest of Thedas, Tevinter still upholds a system of slavery. Now for our companions, we got Davrin. He hasn't appeared in any comics or books, but he is with the Grey Wardens. Now to keep it simple, the Grey Wardens are an order that recruits high potential fighters and mages to battle the Darkspawn. Currently, all we know about the state of the Wardens is that they lack direction. To be real, they ain't got no job right now, ain't got nothing to do, so they just sitting on their couch and they draws, eating cereal. Imric. He is from Navarra, a nation south of Tevinter. He is part of the Mortalatasi, a group of powerful mages who manipulate Navarran politics from the shadows and practice death magic, including complex mummification. Lucanus rose with the House of Crows, an organization that recruits and purchases children, raising and training them for years until they become elite assassins. Lucanus is a high-ranking member and is predicted to be the next leader of the organization. Nev, who we actually see in the gameplay trailer, she's a detective of the Shadow Dragons. Alright. And appears in the Tevinter Knights book and the Missing comic. Although the Shadow Dragons remain shrouded in mystery, we do know that Nev investigates murders and helps to free slaves in Tevinter. Harding had a notable role in Dragon Age Inquisition where she featured as a scout. So like before we get into a new environment, she was already scoping it out, and then when we get there, she gives us the lowdown. However, she was too basic to be a full-on companion. However, for the past 10 years, she's been rolling with Varric to hunt down Solas. And what I'm hearing is that she might have got some powers from one of the Titans, which is giving her magic as a dwarf, something that doesn't happen in the Dragon Age universe. Or at least for all we know. Just outside of Tevinter lies the Arlethan Forest, which once housed the capital of an ancient elven empire. In those ancient times, a huge war erupted, leading to the forest's destruction and leaving behind dangerous, chaotic magic. Balara belongs to a group called the Veil Jumpers, hunters who navigate the perilous forest, warping through realities and time. Honestly, there's not much information to go on for Tosh. She is a Qunari, and a Qunari currently at war with Tevinter, though it is in a stalemate. What's really cool is that she appears to be a warrior dual-wielding axes. Now this makes me hopeful because in Dragon Age Origins, as a warrior you could actually dual-wield instead of just, rocking a two-hander or a sword and shield, so I'm hoping they're bringing that back. For combats, I'm not going to go too deep as we all know that it takes a while for your builds to come online. In the beginning of the game is mostly just auto-attacking. It seems many of the basic attack talents will now be regular attacks instead. What is really interesting is that Rock uses an ability called Static Strikes, Fires 2 bolts, each dealing damage independently but traveling along the same path. What I've suspected was Rock would be a magic user regardless of his class because it makes the game development that much easier. Like I said earlier, Tevinter is ruled by mages and non-magic users are second-class citizens. So instead of having to write every encounter with anyone in Tevinter from both a perspective of Rock as a magic user and a non-magic user, you get to just write him as a magic user and treat it as such regardless of what class the player picks. RPGSite released an interview with the Dragon Age Veilguard director, Corinne Boucher. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name. But yeah, let's take a scroll through and see what's going on. Corinne is saying that the talent system is heavily influenced by Final Fantasy X, which was the sphere grid. Now, the sphere grid was cool. Then they did the remaster and then I believe brought out the expert sphere grid. I'm just going to give you a quick example of what the difference is between the talent tree, because Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition have a traditional talent tree, while the sphere grid, which is Final Fantasy X, was something very unique and it was actually very, very cool. All right, so let's start. Let's say we are a rogue. And then let's say we start Shadow. And then we'll have Sabotage, and then Subterfuge. Hopefully I spelled those correctly. Okay, so anywho, so your typical talent tree is, let's say you start here, then there's here, here. I think Dragon Age Inquisition was like a little bit weirder where you had like this little diamond in the rough, and then boom, 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 and boom, boom, boom. And then you have like nodes here, nodes here, nodes here. Yeah, typical talent tree. So, and especially when you're doing optimized builds or whatnot. So you may come in here, you may grab this, then you might come and get this. And then of course with Inquisition, you had these little, well, with Trespasser, then you had the little upgrades. So you might go up here, you might get these, then you have to go all the way down to here. Even though you don't really want these abilities, you have to follow this progression to get here. And then especially, let's say Sabotage, same thing, but let's say the only one ability that you want is all the way down here, and actually it's this. So then you'd have to waste 5 levels just to get this one passive that you want. Now with a grid, it's more like this. You have this, right? And then let's say this is Shadow, and then let's say like right next to it we have like a little small gate, and then let's say, I'm not sure if they're going to do this, but then it might be a bigger gate, and then let's say you can access a warrior tree. Now let's say the ability that you want is here, right? And then however you're going to start Shadow to get a lot of your key abilities. So let's say we start in the middle, so we're level 1, and might want to come out here, come out, get all of our key abilities in 6. Then when we go to Subterfuge, instead of having this start in the middle, we could probably pay like 2 talents or something like that to break this lock, or at least this is how it was in X. And then we could access this talent, right? And then boom, you're in Subterfuge, you have the talent you want, and you didn't have to waste a bunch of talents doing all of this, right? So then you could use those extra talents on getting more abilities for a stronger build. So that is the cool thing about a grid system. And then on top of that, there may be a way where, let's say I actually want to start getting into some warrior skills. Like I'm kind of bored of just being a rogue. Now, I hope this is the case, but then you could break through this and then start accessing warrior abilities. So we could go from level 8, level 9, level 10, and then, yeah. So that's what's really cool about a grid system. It just gives you as a player creativity to kind of go off and do whatever you want. So the skills are unique per class. Every level you get a skill point. There are other side activities to get a skill point. Oh, that's pretty cool. So it's probably going to be a bit more like Cyberpunk, where, yeah, if you do a specific thing that's based off of your class, then you'll get a skill point and then you get to spend that, which is pretty cool. And then you can refund your last or refund the whole thing. Oh, that's dope. So then you could respec anytime you want. I love that. I love that. We have a level cap of 50. Wow, 50? That's really high. Like, that's really high. That makes me think the game is going to be very long. You get into your specialization about mid-game. Ooh, mid-game might be a bit too far. I just got done saying the game might be very long, so we might not be getting to mid-game till 20 or 30 hours in. We don't want to overwhelm the players. Don't like hearing that because one, it comes off as very, very arrogant. How do you know it's going to overwhelm the players until players actually play it? However, what's more likely is probably, hey, the game's been in development for 8 years. We ran out of budget. EA has cut us off. So now we are trying to make the best game we can with the limited budget that we have. Are elements going to factor in battle? Oh yeah, it really matters. Elements, huh? I mean, we only get 3 abilities, so how could elemental stuff truly matter? Are you constantly going to have to change your abilities? Are they going to give you a way to sweep through your abilities, kind of like Harry Potter? All right, my overall thoughts. I'm excited for Velgard, to be honest. The main thing for me is that it seems the personality wheel from Dragon Age 2 is back. And that makes me curious about what else they will bring back. Tactics. Oh my gosh, please bring back tactics. You've already taken control of companions away. And if their AI is bad too, ooh, you're gonna hear it. And then weapon variety. Like I mentioned with Tosh earlier, she seems to be dual wielding axes. So if they bring in dual wielding back to warriors, like that'd be dope. Because in Origins as a warrior, you could dual wield daggers, you could dual wield regular one-hand weapons, and then you could also have a bow and arrow. Like you really felt like a warrior, like you're Aragon or something like that. Let's talk about the name change from Dreadwolf to Velgard. I think it's a good sign, I really do. One of the issues with Inquisition is the main character felt like imposter syndrome. Aside from becoming one of the most influential and powerful people in Thedas just because you picked up a ball, it always felt like it was Hawke's role. It was Hawke's main villain that you're chasing, and BioWare doubled down on that by putting him in the game and saying Corypheus is Hawke's responsibility. I was afraid it'd be a similar feeling with Rook. Solas is the Inquisitor's villain through and through, yet having a completely new character chase him down is just such a waste. It's like if the next DC movie is about Jimmy Olsen killing the Joker. However, it does seem like they'll introduce 2 new villains early, and I hope Rook gets personal ties to the story. As someone who has played Dragon Age 1 and 2 probably over 10 times each, and Inquisition twice, I do have some concerns. With each Dragon Age release, they keep taking things away from the player. Dragon Age 2 took a lot of weapon choices and a ton of mage spells away. Inquisition actually took a lot away. It took away the personality wheel, the rivalry system, companion tactics, which was one of my favorite features. And then on top of that, they left you with a bad AI. They took dark fantasy away. They locked you to only 8 active abilities. Yeah, it was rough. Obviously, Inquisition is my least favorite of the 3, but that's a whole nother conversation. Velgard seems to continue that trend by only giving you 3 active abilities and taking companion troll away. Like that one hurts me, it hurts my soul. But I'm trying to wait and see what they do now that this is an action game and not a tactical game. So we shall see. But it's like, damn, if we keep simplifying the combat, the next Dragon Age will feel like a Telltale game. Okay. We'll wait and see. All in all, I'm excited and I will buy it as I'm heavily invested in the story and lore. And leave me a comment. Let's treat this like a post-mortem. Tell me what you liked about the gameplay reveal and tell me what you don't like about the gameplay reveal. Please like and subscribe. It's free and it helps my channel. So thank you so much for watching.